Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today is going to be a big review because we're going to be reviewing all three of the Bulma S.H.Figuarts, at least the mainline ones because there is one event exclusive recolor, but all of the main versions of S.H.Figuarts Bulma, as well as the sold separately accessory set, the Bulma's Motorcycle Hoi Poi Capsule number 9. So we'll be looking at the regular one that's just named Bulma, we'll be looking at Bulma The Adventure Begins, as well as Bulma Journey to Planet Namek. So the three figures are set up here, and of course also looking at the accessory set, which is also very cool. So get ready because this will be a pretty big review. Now first up, all of these figures are different, but they do share a few common traits. So we'll start by unboxing them all. So the Adventure Begins Bulma, we get the figure itself, we get three faces, a bunch of different hands, some of them with accessories already sculpted in like a capsule. We get the Dragon Radar as well as a Dragon Ball, and the Adventure Begins Bulma comes with the 2-star Dragon Ball. She also comes with an alternate holster, which is empty, as well as a gun. The regular Bulma, that is just called Bulma, this one is based off an artwork that Akira Toriyama did. So we get the figure itself, there are three faces, there's a gun, there's a Dragon Radar, which is slightly different to the Adventure Begins one, we'll get into that later. We get a Dragon Ball, and I can't remember which number it is off the top of my head, and a bunch of different hands. Then for the Journey to Planet Namek Bulma, it's slightly different. So we get the figure itself, there are four faces, we get an alternate hat / hairpiece that can be used for all the faces as well. We get a backpack, we get a Namekian Dragon Ball, so it's quite large. We get a little like bum bag side pouch that you can slot on, as well as a Dragon Radar and a bunch of different hands. So there are similarities between all of the Bulmas, like having a Dragon Radar and Dragon Ball, as well as, you know, a variety of different hands, but typically there's like a couple things here or there that separate them, like, you know, inclusion of different guns, or, you know, swappable hair pieces or accessories that you can just chuck on the figure. Now for the sold separately accessory pack, this is pretty much just the capsule bike, but there are a few slightly different display options. So you get the bike itself, there's a small to scale Goku as he appeared in the early parts of Dragon Ball, there's a separate skirt piece for the Adventure Begins Bulma so she can actually sit down, there's hands to actually put on the Bulma so she can actually ride the bike properly. There are several different stand options for at heights, straight up, or slightly at an angle, as well as the base, and a swappable seat so you can actually place the Goku on it. So nothing too crazy, it is majority just the bike, but it is nice nonetheless. So taken out of the box and put on a display here are the Bulmas, and they look nice all together. They are all roughly about the same height, in particular both Dragon Ball ones, but they are, you know, all generally the same sort of mold, which was that sort of general female body sculpt that Figuarts used for a very long time, and still sort of use now. There are like variances to it, but for the most part they are, you know, very similar from one another. All of the painted details are nice, what little there is, and all of the colors are nice and vibrant, really capturing the look of Dragon Ball Z at different periods. One thing to note is the Namekian Bulma does have a different shade of that sort of tealish aqua green hair to the Dragon Ball ones, but I think that sort of suits the Z look at the time. It's the same sort of thing that they do with like Trunks, how his hair might sometimes be purple, might sometimes be that sort of like tealish aqua sort of color that they use for Super. It sort of really depends on their mood at the time, but regardless they all read as Bulma and they've captured the character very, very nicely. The bike is also beautifully detailed. There is some nice paintwork and detail. The gloss finish all over gives it a much more premium look to a lot of the other things that Figuarts release, so it looks really nice. All of the decal work, both on the bike and on Bulma, are very clean as well, and just looks really, really nice. Here is the bike next to the Bulma, so you can sort of see scale. It's pretty easy to fit a figurine in the bike, no problem, especially since the canopy can be removed. Now we'll be moving into posability, and we'll go through posability for all of the figures somewhat fast, but we'll be going through them regardless just because each figure is different. They are very, very similar, but they are different. So the regular Bulma first, she's got a ball joint in the head. I couldn't really feel anything in the neck, so I don't think there is one. She's got a floating neck piece. Her arm can move out that far. On her left arm, that shoulder guard thing can actually rotate around. It is a little stiff, but it can spin. The arm can rotate at the ball joint at the shoulder. There is an elbow bend and ball joint at the wrist. There is an upper chest ball joint as well as a ball joint in the waist. She can do the splits that far and kick forward and back that far. There is a thigh swivel as well as a bend at the knees and a pivot and rotation at the ankle, but nothing in the toes. But the way that the boots are designed are quite solid, so she can hold her weight fairly nicely, and all of the joints are quite solid, so she stands with relative ease. Next, the Adventure Begins Bulma. So she's got a ball joint in the neck, similar situation. I don't think there's anything in the actual neck, just like at the actual head there's a ball joint, and the arm can rotate all the way around. There's an upper arm swivel as well as a bend at the elbow and a ball hinge at the wrist. There's a ball joint in the upper chest as well as at the waist, so you can get some nice rotation. The belt is a floating piece. The skirt is divided into two sections. It is a softer plastic, but still a little bit hard, so it does restrict movement a little bit, but you can do the splits that far, kick forward and back that far. There's an upper thigh swivel, as well as a bend at the knees, and a pivot at the ankle, but still nothing at the toes. Again, pretty solid all things considered, probably just a tiny bit more flimsy than the regular Bulma, but not by much. Next, the Namek Bulma. So she's got a ball joint in the head as well. Good range of motion, all things considered. The arms can rotate sort of all the way around. They are blocked quite a bit by the sculpt. This is not a softer plastic upper chest, so it is pretty restrictive. There is an upper arm swivel and bend at the elbow, as well as a ball hinge at the wrist. Upper chest swivel and swivel at the waist. The skirt is a soft plastic, again cut into two pieces, so she can do the splits that far, kick forward and back that far. There's an upper thigh swivel, bend at the knees, as well as a pivot at the ankles, and this Bulma actually has a bend at the toes, so that's nice to see. She can hold a pose relatively well as well. Now for faces, none of these faces are compatible with any of the other Bulmas. Unfortunately, the pegs and system just do not work. For the regular Bulma, we get this nice smile out of the box. We also get a mouth open smile looking to the side, as well as a winking face. All of these look very, very nice, and they are very well detailed. The Adventure Begins has a nice smile out of the box, a mouth open smiling face, as well as this sort of shocked screaming face, which is great, and you can use it for a bunch of different poses if you want. I did also forget to mention that the Adventure Begins Bulma's ponytail is also posable. Now for the Namek Saga Bulma, she's got a mouth open smiling face, she's got a closed mouth smirk, she's got a wide-eyed shocked face, as well as a mouth open screaming face. All of these faces look good, and they do also work with the alternate head sculpt with the hat. I didn't really use it that much, but it's just something you can do. And all of the faces, especially on the Namek Bulma, look good because the Namek Bulma is capturing a more specific look for the character, and it is nice that you can tell that they did change the sculpt work just a bit to make that work and look like a different character, even though these are all the same character. It's the same character through different eras, so it is nice that they have actually put in the effort. And with the fantastic faces and the accessories that these figures come with, you can get Bulma into some really, really nice poses. This is one of those releases where I just pretty much tried to do all that I saw in the promo material, but they all look really, really good. All of them pose very nicely with their Dragon Balls and the Dragon Radar. It is interesting that all of the hands that hold the Dragon Radar have got a peg in it, and the Dragon Radar has a peg to slot them in, but they don't come sculpted like that. Usually some accessories like that are specifically designed for a particular pose, you would sculpt it into the hand, but I think that they did this specifically so other characters could have the Dragon Radar if you wanted to, or you wanted to pose it in particular ways. So I do think that that's nice that it's sort of an optional piece. It's sort of designed for something in particular, but you are given some options if you would like to go further with it, which is nice. Unlike the capsule accessory for the Adventure Begins Bulma where it is sculpted into the hand. I don't mind that personally, just because it is a very, very small piece and I would lose it and it would be a nightmare to plug into anything. So I'm glad that they put that all together. But regardless, posing these Bulmas was really, really nice. They hold their weight really, really well. I did have to use a stand once just for the regular Bulma one, just for one of the poses, because it actually required her to be, somewhat airborne, just because her weight distribution would not work mid-walk. But I had a lot of fun posing these figures together. They work well with other figures from that era as well. Didn't really pose them with anyone specifically except for the actual Dragon Ball Goku. And, the scaling's off, but it doesn't really matter too much. Putting Bulma into the bike was surprisingly easy. You just needed to work at it a little bit. The bike also does have a working metal kickstand, so that's cool too. But once you put Bulma and the little Goku in, it just makes for a beautiful display, and if I ever have them set up together in a glass display, this is definitely how I would do it. It's the only pose that I think I could do for the Adventure Begins Bulma, even though she's got so many different posing options. It would just be the best way to display her. And that's pretty much it. These three figures are really, really good, especially the bike accessory set. If you're buying the Adventure Begins Bulma, you kind of need the bike. It's just such a nice piece, and I really, really like it. And you can't really get the bike by itself. It just feels like you need something for it. And fortunately, they do release the Bulma and the bike fairly often. The other two releases are solid as well. Granted, they aren't as action-packed as some of the other figures, but they achieve what they need, and the spread of accessories is nice. It's pretty much exactly what you need out of these figures to really capture who they are, and because they're not, super action characters that are always fighting and things like that, they can work a little bit more on the expressions being a little bit more dynamic or a little bit more specific to certain situations instead of just teeth clenched or shouting. And I like that quite a bit. These are really, really solid figures. I think that there is room for another Bulma or two if they wanted to update the character. We don't really have Super. I'm not sure if it would be worth doing a Super Bulma, but, she did have plenty of different designs, so it's really up to them if they would like to do it. I'm okay with it staying here, and I'm okay with them doing more, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. As you can see, I'm hard at work making new videos for the channel. Now, while I'm happy with where the channel is right now, I could use your help. By liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel, it helps out the YouTube algorithm and recommends my channel to more people. So if you like any of my videos, please let me know. It really helps out. And if you liked this one, please let me know too. It means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate all of you guys.